Welcome back, family. If you've been part of this storytelling journey, thank you so much for your love and support. You're the reason these stories come to life each week. And if this is your first time here, welcome to Stories That Inspire. This is where real stories meet reflection and where we can all learn together. I am so glad you found this space. Now do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to help this community grow and to keep this storytelling journey alive. Today's story has powerful lessons and deeply relatable. I wouldn't waste much of your time, so let's dive in. Have you ever worked so hard for something only to lose it all to silence and rejection? What happens when the world sees your brilliance as invincible? This is a powerful story of Chuka, a respected doctor in Nigeria, reduced to driving strangers in a new country until one night, one divine moment changed everything. Chuka Ibe was born in Nsukka to two public school teachers who barely earned enough to live, but never compromised on education. At age 10, Chuka could recite anatomy flashcards from his uncle's medical books. At 14, he was tutoring his peers. By 25, he had earned his MBBS and was serving as a senior registrar in the emergency unit of a reputable general hospital in Lagos. He was brilliant, compassionate, and known for his intense attention to details. He worked 14-hour shift, never missed a day. And his outcomes were remarkable. Mothers prayed over him. Colleagues envied his rise. And yet, Chuka wanted more. So when Canada opened its doors to skilled immigrants, Chuka saw it as a chance to specialize in trauma care and expand his career globally. He applied, he got in, he hugged his weeping mother and said, "Mama, next time you see me, I'll be Dr. Chuka, Canada trained." He had no idea that the next time would feel like a lifetime away. Chuka arrived in Toronto with a heart full of dreams and a suitcase full of credentials. But almost instantly, the dreams cracked. Your Nigerian degree isn't recognized here. You need to write new licensing exams. You will need Canadian clinical experience to apply, but no one would hire you without Canadian experience. It went from respected to rejected in every application. He tried to get volunteer roles, no response. He applied to be a caregiver, a medical assistant, even a file clerk, but still there was rejection. He had spent years saving for the move to Canada, but in 6 months, it was all gone. Reluctantly, Chuka signed up to drive Uber. He began working day and night, sleeping in short naps, eating dry bread with tea, telling himself, "It is temporary, just until I write the licensing exams." But months passed. The fees for the exams were too high. He now lived in a dark basement apartment. He hadn't seen the sun in days. He stopped telling his family the truth. "I'm just waiting for placement, Mama." Still networking, he told his friends. In reality, he was barely surviving. Despite his depression, Chuka was kind to his passengers. He greeted them with a smile, helped them to carry bags, offered bottled water. Some passengers left glowing reviews for him, Best Uber experience. Such a gentleman. Tipped him extra. He was so kind. One afternoon, two men entered his car discussing a recent burn injury one of them sustained at a factory. Chuka overheard them, apologized, and said gently, "Sorry, I couldn't help but overhear. If the burn area hasn't closed up, try silver sulfidizing cream. But please see a doctor. It might be infected." They stared at him. "Are you a doctor?" "I was," Chuka replied softly. That moment broke him again. Another day, which was a rainy Tuesday night, around 11:48 p.m., Chuka received a ping for a pickup from a five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. The passenger, a corporate executive named Mr. Richard Almond, catching a red eye to Montreal. He looked tipsy but polite. 10 minutes into the ride, something happened. Mr. Almond clenched his chest. His speech slurred. He gasped, trying to breathe. "Sir, are you okay?" But there was no response. Then, Mr. Almond collapsed in the back seat. Chuka slammed the car to a halt near an intersection, jumped out, opened the back door, but realized there was no pulse. The doctor mode was activated. Without thinking, Chuka laid him on the pavement, tilted his head, and started CPR. Rain soaked his shirt. Traffic honked. A small crowd gathered and people were recording. But he didn't stop. He counted beats, he compressed, and then he prayed. Someone shouted, "Paramedics are coming." But Chuka didn't stop. After 4 minutes, a faint breath, then a cough. By the time the ambulance arrived, Richard was alive. 3 days later, Chuka received a phone call that changed his life forever. "Is this Mr. Chuka Ibe?" "Yes," he answered. "This is Toronto General Hospital. The man you saved, Mr. Almond, he wants to see you." Chuka arrived on shore, wearing his cleanest shirt, but still nervous. When he walked into the private ward, Almond smiled warmly. "You're the reason I'm alive. I just did what anyone would do," Chuka replied humbly. "Not anyone could. Not the way you did. I asked around. You're a doctor, aren't you?" Chuka hesitated, then nodded. "In Nigeria, but here I drive." Then Chuka explained his background, his story. Richard paused and said, "That ends today." Richard was the CEO of a healthcare network. He offered to sponsor Chuka's exams, gave him a paid internship. Chuka cried in that hospital room and in front of strangers. Chuka worked and studied harder than ever. He passed his licensing exams. 2 years later, Dr. Chuka Ibe was licensed to practice in Canada. He now works in a Toronto hospital, saving lives again. But he hasn't forgotten. He still does 1 to 2 Uber rides per week. Not for the money, he says, for the connection, for the reminder. He started a support group for immigrant professionals. Every Sunday, he mentors aspiring international doctors. Chuka's story is not fiction. It's our story. The story is of every immigrant who left their title at the border and picked up mops, aprons, and dobs just to survive. But listen to me. Rejection doesn't mean you're not valued. It means your story isn't over. You don't need everyone to believe in you. Sometimes all it takes is one ride, one moment, one divine appointment, and everything changes. Maybe you're watching this right now and you feel stuck, and you've always felt small in the world that doesn't see your worth. You've done everything right, got the education, put in the work, made the sacrifice, but life still hasn't opened the door you were promised. Maybe you are in a foreign land where your name is mispronounced, your degree is dismissed, and your experience is constantly questioned. And now you're doing jobs you never imagined you will. Cleaning offices, driving strangers, lifting boxes. Just stay afloat. You've asked yourself, was this move a mistake? You've cried in silence, smiled through rejections, and bury your pride just to survive one more week. If that's you, listen to me clearly. You are not a failure. You are not your job title. You are not your visa status. You are not invincible. You are not forgotten. This is not the end of your story. It's the foundation of a testimony so powerful, even you won't believe how God turns it around. Don't let a country, a system, or a biased system make you doubt your brilliance. You're not here by accident. Your voice, your skills, your heart are needed more than you know. Thank you for joining me on this journey of transformation. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and join me on this journey weekly to discover more inspirational story. See you next week.